In Estonia, the King's Royal Hussars are awaiting the princess, their colonel-in-chief. She's coming east to observe their manoeuvres as part of a NATO battle group.
First time I've driven a member of the royal family.
I'm buzzing, I'm really looking forward to it. It's quite an honour to have a member of the royal family on our tank. Tell the grandkids.
The monarchy is our guiding light, our moral compass. Having someone like the Princess Royal, who stands for that family, and she's the head of our family, is incredibly important.
She's hugely in admiration of what the United Kingdom's military does for this country, and she wants to support them.
It's really good. She's interested in see variants of what we do.
It's really nice to see her come out and get amongst all the lads.
I think it's important that they recognise that there is somebody from outside the military who might understand what they're doing. They are working very hard, so that's, I hope, what they feel is being achieved.
We all know her, and we've all felt that personal touch that she brings. And her ability to talk to everyone, of any rank, of any age, is something that we all love about her.
So as Royal Engineers, we're setting up battlefield simulations for the attack that's going to happen.
The Challenger 2 is a hugely effective piece of equipment. There are in-life upgrades going on at the moment.
There's always the technology to catch up on, because that's changing all the time.
It's quite a full-on environment. It's loud, it's noisy.
She loves going in any of her army vehicles. She loves driving the tanks, firing the guns.
There's a huge amount going on. I was impressed by actually how much she immediately understood. Right in the middle, she got out her phone and started filming, which is what people do today. She doesn't stand above and beyond it, and she's terribly human.
At headquarters, the officers' mess is a shrine to their royal comrade.
As a member of the royal family, females were tended to be treated as honorary men, so they would become involved in organisations otherwise men only.
In 1969, the princess joined up. Her first rank, Colonel-in-Chief of the 14th 20th Hussars, as they were then known.
That was almost the first thing that I did when they were in Germany then.
At the age of 19, she was on exercise in a chieftain tank named after her.
Just perfect for Trafalgar Square. That solves all your problems, really. Oh, they're fantastic bits of kit.
Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Angus Tilney is keeper of the regimental scrapbook.
We've got photos here of the Princess Royal driving a chieftain with her headscarf on. I'd make sure she had a helmet on if she did it today. And firing the Sterling submachine gun. Again, no air defence in those days, but certainly today we'd make sure that she did. It'd be the end of me if I had Princess Royal shooting a Sterling submachine gun without air defenders. But she seems pretty easy with it. She's actually the longest serving member of the King's Royal Hussars.
It's a very long association. I thought I'd got old when the son of the commanding officer, when I met him, was in short pants in Germany, became an officer in the regiment. I thought I'd been there too long already. So we're into grandchildren, yeah.
When she was very young, Princess Anne would join Prince Charles, watching the Queen at the grandest military ceremony of all. It's among her first memories.
Well, the earliest ones, of course, were the Trooping the Colour, the birthday parade.
It was important training for Princess Anne in the ceremonial role of the monarchy.
You were allowed to go quite early in your career. That was much the earliest of the sort of ceremonial events you were allowed to be part of. State visits came much later.
For today's ceremony, the princess will ride behind the Queen as a royal colonel.
Right, final polish and grooming. You get the others out now, chap.
Every year, royal stud groom Terry Pendry prepares the family's horses for the ceremony.
The Princess Royal. There we have her saddle. She's a fine, fine horsewoman. Passed on from her mother, her grandmother, all the royal children, and they learned to walk, and straight after walking they were learned to ride. And of course the Princess Royal just went from strength to strength to strength. I did compete against her on the odd occasion I have beaten her, but most of the time I would have seen her backside disappearing into... She was a lot better than I'll ever be. Right, saddle's on. I'm pretty certain they know they're going on parade. George behind me certainly does. Yeah, they do know, I'm certain of it.
Trooping the colour is the most astonishing mixture of pageantry, military ceremonial, horsemanship and horsewomanship, but at the heart of it is this family. And the family, of course, are on performance. Anne, of course, does very well since she probably rides more than the others. Trooping the colour, it is absolutely crucial in terms of what they do as members of that family.
For me, like, family occasions were all about hanging out with our cousins and just having as much fun as possible.
You then get a clip round the ear and say, right, behave yourself. Yeah, we're going out on the balcony. Don't pick your nose and don't yawn.
Today, the Princess Royal increasingly helps out the Queen, and not just in military ceremonies. She also takes a key role in the most exciting civil event, the investitures.
I didn't think I would ever be asked to do an investiture. It's a real pleasure. I'm delighted to be able to go on doing those.
These are all British Empire, that's a CBE. And then over there is the sword that the Princess Royal will be using for the investiture today.
The honours system is a wonderful way of recognising individual people around the country that makes this country great, rather than, big companies or politicians.
So this is it.
Journalist Brenda Imanus is to receive the OBE for services to broadcasting and diversity.
Her Majesty the Queen may be graciously pleased to approve that you be appointed an officer of the Order of the British Empire. It's really quite amazing and quite humbling. My mother was so proud. It's the first time I've seen her genuinely bursting with pride. Choosing what to wear took forever. That's the coat. But I'm not sure what the formality is, whether you keep your coat on or take your coat off when you go up to do your bit.
Let's get straight up the stairs. Recipients follow the staircase.
Today, 65 recipients and their families have travelled to Buckingham Palace. Linda Longstaff has come from Sunderland to receive an MBE for her work as a hospital chaplain.
Absolutely overwhelmed. What a day, and to be with my husband and my two girls. It's wonderful.
For most people, this will be their first contact with the royal family. Brenda's mum has bought a new hat.
I feel very proud this morning. Yes, I am. Because of my daughter.
Coming to get this, it's quite a thing, actually. It's starting to hit me.
So the Princess Royal likes to spend a chunk of time talking to each recipient. She's really good at it. So, we tailor the numbers accordingly. She does her homework with her staff on each person so that she knows their background story and will remember each one as they come up. She's exceptional at it.
If you get in a position where you can see and hear what I have to say, please. And it's my job to explain how an investiture works. Turn to face the Princess Royal, neck bow, and from the ladies, and much better than I can do, it's a curtsy. You're now moving forward towards the dais. Receive your award, conversation, handshake, take it, shake it, let go, go back 2 or 3 paces, neck bow, or a curtsy, turn to your right, and pass your hand in that direction.
People whinge about having an awards system, but actually this one does work. And I think on the whole, the decisions made have been good. And they do reflect, I think, appropriately the important issues.
The system itself gets a bit of flack because occasionally somebody controversial gets an honour, but the award of an MBE to somebody who's been beavering away for 10 or 20 years supporting some charitable cause is a massively important part of our national life, I think.
This is absolutely the heart of what the monarchy does.
Because the princess has been going around the country for 50 years-ish, she would give an MBE out to a health worker, and the lady would say, I remember when you opened the General Hospital in Northallerton in 1980, and then the conversation would go on from there.
Talking about we've met before, That happens more in investitures than I care to think. And then often a bit of a challenge. But there you go. I mean,
she was lovely. She really does hold a conversation with you. Because I was really worried what to say. And she knows about you as well. She asked me if I preferred being in front of the camera or behind. She knew a lot about my artwork.
Some of the palace authorities thought the princess's investitures went on a bit too long, but it gave enormous joy and pride to the recipients, which at the end of the day is what it's all about.
The royal presence makes all the difference. It's the electricity the princess aims to bring to the 300 charities she represents.